He's a manifestation of my dream. We must have been dreaming the same.
Good evening. And here's the Life with Zemrah and Ed. And as promised, as we've talked to you about maybe on about 3 or 4 of our shows,
Yes.
that we were going to bring back the dynamic Dr. Stephanie Wilson Coleman. And we're so excited that she's here to join us with some good information on New Year's resolutions, some of her aspirations, how to make your dreams come true, how to make that money you want for 2018, and all that good stuff. So we welcome you, Stephanie, again, and so glad you came back.
Thank you. That's right. Let's clap. Clap for Zemrah.
Yeah.
And thanks, Ed.
Yeah.
It's always fun to be here.
Yeah.
And so much fun to talk about one of the things I love to play with.
I know.
And that's money.
Hey.
That's
So I know
right.
everybody out there is going to love that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
this-
there was a sign that said, that money can't buy happiness, doesn't know where to shop. That's what I feel. That's right.
I love that.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, and for those of you listening, we are on Facebook
we
Live.
are.
So
Yes.
grab a post off of Zemrah,
Yes.
Songstress's Facebook page,
That's right.
and mine also, Stephanie Wilson Coleman. I'm live for as long as my battery lasts. You all know how it is.
But we're live.
Apple is
We're live.
playing games with the battery. So, and there's always IntellectualRadio.com
Oh,
and look for
absolutely.
Zemrah.
And then I want you to know that you can also, if you have any questions for Stephanie, you are definitely welcome. We have the phone lines hooked up at 708-8953 because you might have some questions that you want to ask, and we welcome you to do that. So, Stephanie, let's jump right in. And first of all, how was your holiday?
I had a great holiday.
You have such a
I
beautiful
tell you.
smile. It seems like you just got everything you wanted also.
I did.
You know?
Oh, just be honest about it.
I got everything I
I
wanted.
got it.
That's what I'm talking about.
I got everything I wanted.
That's awesome.
And you have a good Christmas too?
Oh, I
and a good New
did.
Year?
Yes, I did. Yeah, we have an awesome New Year's Eve party that we've been having for, I think, probably about the last 13 years. We do it as a group,
Yeah.
and it always winds up at our home.
Mhm.
But it's always wonderful. We didn't have as many people. We had maybe about 40 people
That
this
was
year.
good.
That was
Oh.
good, and people loved it. We had a awesome one of our group members. Her son was our DJ this year,
He was
and
cooking.
he was awesome. So he kept people on their feet, and it was a really, really. We always have a wonderful bartender. Shout out goes to Red, who was just Glenda Harrison, who was just awesome. And then she had her sister to come and help us out because the other girl, Jackie, she was in Vegas.
Okay.
So we had Vanette, and she was just wonderful. So everybody enjoyed, brought in the new year. They always feel so comfortable, so safe, and so we had a wonderful time.
Well, I didn't do all that. That was wonderful.
Yeah. And so yesterday I just stayed in bed and rested while Ed relaxed and watched all the games. And
Oh.
and matter of fact,
That
he
was my
cooked.
job.
So I
That
was
was my
real happy
job.
with that. Yeah.
Oh, and you cooked too?
Yeah, he
yeah.
cooked.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
because I was
goodness.
gonna put on the black eyed peas. He said, "No, baby, you just relax. I got this. You know, I fix beans." I said, "Well, then you go right on and do it."
That's right.
So it was perfect. And he fixed cornbread and fixed rice. Burnt a little bit of the bottom of it,
Hey,
but
wait a minute.
he
That wasn't
did.
burnt. Old school
But it was
crispy.
still
There you go.
good. Yeah.
It was good though. It was
So it
good.
was a wonderful, wonderful yesterday as far as I didn't
Yeah.
have to cook. So I was happy about that. So let's get right into one of the questions that I always like to talk about is resolutions and why people make resolutions, you think, and don't keep them, what makes it difficult for them to do that. We want to hear some of your resolutions and just on and on and on. So people, get ready.
Resolutions are actually popular during this time of year.
Mhm.
But I want everyone to know that you don't have to wait until January 1st to make a resolution. All a resolution is an idea of something that you want to accomplish, some change you want to make in your life. And if you're doing this thing right, you
Mhm.
should have resolutions several times a year. Just like you don't have to wait to have a burning bowl ceremony to burn up some stuff you don't want.
That's
You don't have to
right.
wait to the end of the year. You can do that any
Ah.
time of the year. Now, resolutions are usually focused on some huge, big goal that we want to accomplish. But when we make these big goals, we forget one important thing, and that is, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
Right.
So we make these big goals that say things like, I'm going to lose 30 pounds. And I'm going to do it in 30 days, right? Because that's what we say, right? Or I'm going to get out of debt. But behind those resolutions, you have to have a plan of action. Okay?
Plan.
Faith without works is dead. Some works, and we often miss the plan.
Right.
And in the planning process, I need you all to start to ask yourselves a question that you probably never thought of before. Why? Why do you want to lose the weight? That down. The why is what fuels you. The why is what keeps you going. So, are you losing the weight so you can live longer? Are you losing the weight so you can improve your health? So now, instead of focusing on losing the weight, you're going to focus on the why, the health, the get better, the improve the blood pressure, or improve or lower your A1C. And that's another thing I say, you should know your numbers. You should know your blood pressure and your A1C and your weight. So it's the why. So now you're doing it for a reason that really benefits you and actually speaks to your heart.
Now we get down to the nitty gritty.
Okay.
Get the planning stage.
Right. So now what you have to do is get a calendar, because you've got to start and you have to pick a date. And someday isn't on my calendar. Okay.
Someday I'll do
it. Someday I'll do it, or I'll do it next. I don't have a day on my calendar that says next week. You have to pick a date that you're going to start. But you have to be realistic also. If you look at your activities now, no way you're working out every day. There's a reason why you're not working out every day. So you're going to have to rearrange some things and move some things around. But the one thing you have to remember in all of that is one of the whys or to getting out of debt is so you can live longer, better quality of life, and to leave something for your family when you leave this earth. And you have to remember that. That means you're putting yourself first. So this is the year you get to give yourself a break from solving everybody else's problems. I happen to know that people are very resilient. And if you don't answer that phone and if you don't do it for them, they will find a way to do it.
Right.
So you're going to have to free up some time in order to do it. But I wouldn't suggest you hit the gym 7 days a week, 5 days a week. What I would suggest you do 2 days a week that you can work out. Find times. So if you know that you're in rush hour traffic at 5:30, don't plan to be in the gym at 6. Most gyms now are open to midnight, and there's a couple of chains that are open 24 hours a day. So find a time that you can do it. Also, experiment with the workout times. I find that I cannot work out in the morning. And if I work out in the morning, y'all, I need a nap by 2. Okay, just do. But I am a night. I can work out at night, and 8 o'clock at night works for me.
Yeah, so you have to know yourself.
So you have to know yourself. So if your body doesn't want to go in the morning for whatever reason, but 8 works for you, work out at 8 o'clock at night. Just figure out what works for you.
Now, Stephanie, quickly. Now, when you work out, like you said, 8 o'clock, and you say it works out for you, that doesn't keep you up. It relaxes you where you can go to sleep and sleep well.
Right. And if you have a lot of stuff on your mind that you need to work out, hit that. I hit the elliptical machine. And man, I can have all those conversations I wanted to have that I couldn't have. I can remember all the smart things and witty things I should have said back as a comeback from the day. I get all of that stuff off. I am incredibly relaxed. And trust me, all I want to do maybe is grab some juice and an apple.
So what do you find is the most difficult thing for people to do? Is the starting, the planning, or the actual activation of a plan that they, or the why? Which one comes first?
People have a hard time getting started because they don't remember why they want to get started. If you think about something you've ever accomplished in your life, why did you do it?
It was mostly after I made up my mind, say, I'm doing this. I got fed up and I decided I'm doing this. That's called a made up mind.
Right.
Because once you make up your mind, everything changes.
You have to make up your mind to do it.
Why?
The why. Now, I started exercising. Oh, I needed to exercise and I didn't. So one day I picked a date, literally. I picked a date that was like 2 months away. On this day, I am going to start working out, whether I like it or not, whether I want to do it or not. I'm going to work out on this day. This is the schedule I'm going to follow. And that day was like 2 months away. So every day I would say I'm going to do it. And I actually started on the day that was on my calendar. On my calendar, I worked out. Now, when you work out, and if workout is your goal, that's just our example for today, you have to plan other things around it. So you got to figure out when you're going to eat. My son taught me that you have to plan to work out. So you got to plan your meals, schedule. You have to plan to be successful. You're not successful at anything unless you make a plan.
Right.
And the same thing, and workout is an easy one because we early. Nobody wants to stick with it. There's just know some things are going to happen. You're always going to have sore muscles. That's just a part of it. Okay, so just get over it. Stop praying for not having sore muscles. It doesn't work.
It comes with the territory.
It just comes with the territory.
Don't complain.
That's right. Just do it. Just know you're going to be sore. Okay? And just know you're going to have to eat better because getting fit is more than working out. As a matter of fact, the latest research says it's 80% of what you eat and 20% of working out. So a lot of us aren't needing to lose weight because we don't work out. A lot of us need to lose out because we're working our mouth too much. Okay. So I want you to stop every time you eat. So if you are having dessert every day, it is no longer a treat. Okay. So let's take dessert off the plate every day and let's have some dessert once a week so that we can have a treat.
That makes it taste better.
It makes it taste better. So I want you to also look at your eating habits. And your eating habits, you're going to have to track when do you eat and why do you eat when you eat. A lot of people eat when they're stressed. So you're going to have to figure out your own stressors. There is no magic theory that is going to come to you and say, every time this happens, you eat too much. Your body already knows. So ask your body. Cramming things in your mouth that you know aren't good for you. Stop and ask, what emotion are you feeding? Now, one good trick to that is if you're eating a lot of crunchy stuff, truth is you're mad as hell. You need to figure out why and you need to deal with that anger, okay? And if you're eating a lot of sweet stuff, you don't feel love. So you need to figure out why you don't feel love and you need to deal with that emotion.
Really?
Yes. Okay? Some quick.
Everything's a cause and effect.
Now the crunchy again is what, Stephanie?
You're eating your anger.
A girlfriend that really
you're eating your anger.
Be able to eat. Got to have something crunchy.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
You're eating your anger.
I'm gonna have to tell her that.
Well, since most of us, the majority of, especially us, are dealing with post-traumatic slave syndrome, there's always something wrong with you that you need to be dealing with, and to deny it, then you're just lying to yourself. Let me get the workout.
But if you're growing, there's always something to deal with too. Always, because when you have a perfect life and nothing to deal with, then you're not here with us anymore.
That's not happening.
There's always, and as you peel back layers of who you are, you find more things to work on. So stop looking for perfection. You're already at perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a song that I love that says, look for your perfect imperfections. Those are the things that make you who you are.
Right.
And don't try to get rid of those. Now, someone wants to have more money. Now, more people says, what do I do with my money? I need more money. How do I get out of debt? The easy answer is stop spending all the money you have.
I guess a good one.
Real easy. But how do you do that? You know about what you're spending. I want everyone to write down, because I know nobody knows how much money they have in the bank right now. I want you to write down all of the things you spend your money on. So, do you go online and look at your bank accounts? If that's what you do, then do it that way. If you keep receipts, if you write checks, however.
I keep receipts of everything I buy.
Good. So I want you then to categorize those receipts. Like, this is for the house. This is utilities. This was for car, food, entertainment. This was totally unnecessary because
Snacks.
I wasn't feeling good that day, right? And I want you to get those categories and figure out how much money you spend and where you spend it. After you do that, then I want you to ask yourself, what were you feeling, experiencing when you were spending that money, especially the money you put on a credit card?
Stephanie, you're asking a whole lot of self-examination that people just don't do. That's dangerous. You got to be looking at myself and examining myself and wondering why I do what I do. Ain't that kind of personal? Ain't that dangerous? People don't want to do that.
Yeah, you might just get rich in the process if you can figure it out. If you do the self-examination, you might just get rich,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
You might find out that you already have enough money.
See, now you're talking my language. My thing is that if you want to be something, be it. Don't wait for you to get it. You already are rich.
Yeah, but I don't want you to be that person that's driving the fancy car, living in the basement, in your mother's basement either.
No.
So I want you to work to get rid of the credit card debt. Strange things begin to happen, just as when you're exercising. Anytime you're trying to make a change, what happened is that you have conditioned your body to accept the way that you're living now. Okay, you've done that. You did that without knowing it. So your heart says something to your brain, and your brain tells your body, and that process goes on so long till your heart and your brain don't even have to tell your body. And when you get ready to go exercise, your body just feels like it doesn't want to go. Okay, and you think that that's because you don't want to exercise. It's because you've already spent years telling your heart, I really don't want to exercise. I don't like it. Now your body remembers that conversation, so it's saying, we don't want to do this.
Be careful what you say to yourself.
Right. So I want you to find out, what is your body telling you, and then we just deal with that. And a lot of times it's just as simple as acknowledging that your body is saying that. And then if you know it's your body, then you can have a conversation with it.
You are telling people to start talking to their bodies?
Yes.
Oh, girl, you're getting deep.
Yes.
Talk to your body, it will talk back to you.
When you feel that aching, like if something's happening and you feel an aching and pain, that's a message. It is. Yeah. That's that angel you've been asking for. That's that voice you've been asking for. Is there all along. People show up around, for instance, and you just get sick at the stomach. What does your body have to do to tell you that you don't need to be in the company of those people? It's told you already. You get a headache, you get tired, or you just feel drained, right?
Because they sucked all the energy out the room.
Just vampire. Just sucked all the energy out. So your body's already telling you this. I want you to look at that. I want you to honor your emotions. And then I want you to that some things are happening that maybe you don't know how to fix, but a lot of times just acknowledging them is 75%.
Makes a difference.
Makes a big difference. You can't fix everything today or tomorrow, nor is it required. Required is knowing that I can't go over there because every time I go in there, I have to have an ice cream cone and French fries. So right now, I'm just going to stay away from there because that's the best I can do. That's the only control I have right now.
And that gives you willpower.
Right.
And yeah.
It's a little successes at a time.
Exactly. And they add up, and then you get a big success. Because if you think back over anything that you've accomplished, you think back, you probably don't remember exactly what you did that helped you accomplish it. If people looked back over things that they survived, they had no idea how they survived it. It was these little bitty steps that you took. So once you assess where you are, I want you to figure out a way to pay the debt down. Now, there are a lot of ways online that help you pay the debt down. There's the snowball effect where you pay the minimum on everything and then whatever's left on the one with the largest balance or the largest interest rate. You figure out what works for you.
That's right.
And they all won't work for everyone. So don't feel bad if you hear these people saying, I paid off $53,000 worth of debt in 2 years doing this, and you can't because it just doesn't work for you. That's all.
Exactly.
That's why there's so many ways. Equal amounts across all the things. Whatever you do, if it's credit card debt, stop using your credit cards, put them away, and just go through the withdrawals of not being able to use your credit card.
You mean
that's
tell
a
me
serious
if I really
withdrawal.
want something and I got $500 limit and I only owe them $100-something, I can't just go get it because I want it?
Well, if you're asking me, I'm going to ask you things like, are all of your credit cards paid off? Have 10%. Do you have an emergency fund that's equal to a year's worth of your expenses?
That is really urgent.
So you talking
do you
about,
say have you saved 10? Do you have saved 10 to 20% of your income for retirement? And if answers to any of that is no, then no, you can't spend that money. You don't have any money to spend.
See, that's the answer that people are afraid of. Because the answer is going to be no, and they don't want to hear no. They want to get what they want to get. But if they look at it and reason it out, you don't need that. And if you give yourself time to reason it out, say, wait a day or two, you'll understand that you really didn't need that.
And if people would really wait, because I'll look at something and say I really love that, then I give myself a week. In a week, you hadn't even thought about it,
right?
Or it's going on sale. And if you still want it that bad, when you go back, it's like, no, I don't really want this.
It don't look as good as it did the first time.
That's right. Because you find that, because you love it the most in the store. So if you're not absolutely in love with it in the store, you don't like it. And you need to ask yourself. And I say, if it's a clothing article, I tell people, if you don't have at least 3 things at home already that you can wear with that, then you don't need it. Because it's got to work its hard for you as you work for your money.
Right.
And you work very hard for your money. Another thing is, if you take your take-home pay, divide it by 40 hours, then you come up with what your true hourly rate is. And then take that hourly rate and figure out how many hours you have to work for those pairs of shoes you can't live without. And you'll find that you're going to have to work 100 hours for those shoes. Are those shoes worth that?
Then you're going to decide, well, maybe I don't need those.
Right.
Right.
I shop, when I do shop, I shop very strategically. If there's something that I want and I had bought something else and I might want something more, I'll take the other one back. Just won't get it.
Right. And some people buy a lot of things, because I'll tend to buy things, and then, because sometimes you do have to get it home to see how it works with thing and how it really fits. Mm-hmm. But don't keep it. Take it back.
Mm-hmm. And I do.
And there's a lot of people who have tags on clothes now. So you need to return that. And if you can't, you've got to create a vacuum. You have, if a Macy's truck showed up with every single thing in it that you want, where would you put it?
No room.
No room. So you have to then start by creating a vacuum. Go through your closets, get rid of things.
That's what I'm doing
purge
now.
things.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get back in it. If you wore it 5 years ago, you're not getting back in it now. If you're not in the gym, just be real. And if you did, it's not in style anymore, because the colors and stuff change. So in your closets, purging everything and getting down to what you can wear, what you really use. And if you don't want to purge, then this is the thing I tell people to do, is then you're going to wear everything in your closet. I don't care what it is, how old it is, how it looks. Every day wear something in your closet that you haven't worn before. And at the end of the day, if you don't love it, you put it in that bag to be given away. Chances are you're not going to love it. But you have to wear everything in your closet.
That's a great idea.
Everything.
So now we're getting back to our whys.
Yeah. Do you want it? Why? And that's big. Sometimes we're feeding emotions, anger, loneliness. We need something to do. So if we're not shopping, then we're just killing social media. We're always doing something other than what we need to be doing. And that is finding out a way to be a better version of yourself this year, to have better health. Look, and if you're going to read something, try to figure out different ways to fix some of the same foods in a healthier way. And you can spend some time on reading a book every month about finances. I think we don't save and don't pay off debt because we don't know enough about money. Money is a concept that we don't like to talk about. As a matter of fact, people always told me it wasn't polite to talk about money. But if you don't ever talk about it, and you won't know how to get some. If you can't talk about it.
Right.
Hello, absolutely.
So we've got to talk about it.
Right.
Right.
Some people talk about
We're going
money
to take a
all
short
the time.
break. We're here with Dr. Stephanie Wilson Coleman, and we'll be back in just a moment. We're here at IntellectualRadio.com. Here's the Life with Zemrah. It's not the pale moon that excites
excites me, that thrill and delights me. Oh, no, no, no. It's just the nearness of you. You. It isn't your sweet conversation that brings to me this sensation. Oh, no, 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 no. Nearness of you. Now when I'm in your arms and I feel you so close to me, all my wildest dreams true, come true. I need no songs of life to enchant me, baby, if you would only grant me the right to hold you ever so tight, so very tight, and feel in the night, baby, the newness of you, the newness of you. We're back here with Here's the Life with Zemrah here at IntellectualRadio.com. And again, joining us is the lovely and knowledgeable Stephanie Wilson Coleman, talking some good stuff about New Year's resolutions and about that thing called money, that we really and truly need to learn more about how to handle it. So back into it.
I tell you, we were just grooving to one of Zemrah's songs. Like, wow, we got to go back again.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites, The Nearness of You. You were talking about, and one of the things too that she was just talking about, which was really interesting, is that if you, the part about the crunch. Now that just if you, I have to go back to if you foods. I got to bring that back. Your anger. And if you're eating too many sweets, you don't feel loved. Wow. Now, I had never heard that, but it makes so much sense. Man. Okay, so we got a caller here for Stephanie.
See what I call asked to say here's a dynamic question I know. You got one question and 4 answers.
Okay, caller, good evening. We have Dr. Coleman here with us, joining us. And who are we speaking with, and where are you from?
Hi, I'm speaking with Gerald Walsh Jr. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada.
All right.
Las Vegas.
Can you send us an extra 20 degrees? We can use it.
It's not as, it's kind of warm over here. I mean, it gets cold in the mornings. When that sun goes down, trust me, it'll be just like 32.
Okay.
Exactly. Really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, would you have a question for our guest this evening?
Just on Facebook post, so Colin, you guys are talking about the ring size, or a little early for that one, that conversation?
About the what?
The ring size, does it matter?
You're a little early for that one. That's not this conversation. We're talking about New Year's resolutions and money. So really quick, we promise to answer it.
Okay, sure. Was this the subject one more time so I can get the questions?
Okay, so we're talking about money and the New Year's resolutions, really, and some of your aspirations, some of the things that you want to do. Stephanie talks about how to manage money if you really want to be successful in life, and what do you want? What do you want out of your life for 2018? What are some of the things you want to accomplish? Where do you want to go?
Okay, we're in the family. I am going to school for my CDL for truck driving, so I have to really manage my money on that. Since I'm a first-year driver, I won't make as much.
Okay.
So my question would be, should I wait to purchase a house after 2 years of driving, or just go ahead and just jump right in it?
Comes to purchasing a house, one thing that I ask people to do is what is often called playhouse. So I want you to think about how much house you would want to buy and what those monthly payments are. And I want you to continue your current lifestyle, but set aside in a bank account payments for that house that you wish to buy for 6 months. Maintain that for 6 months, then you are ready to buy a house. Not only are you ready to buy a house, but you've got a pretty good down payment.
Yeah, I like that strategy because it's very aggressive. You said 6 months, and most houses can range from 800, almost 1,500 a month, something like that. So I get what you're saying.
Oh, that's what what the mortgages are in Vegas. That's pretty good.
Yeah, because think about it. That's another conversation itself. Vegas is just a cheaper version of California. There's no different. Just like I moved from Atlanta, it's just like California. Just the living's a little different. Particularly, what's happening is when these new cities come into cities, they're just revamping. So the prices of housing go straight up. There's a very few Black people here that have their houses here. The majority of them are still in apartments, but I'm glad I got the house before the Raiders come because the housing market will change once they get here. You see how greedy people become, but again, that's another combo.
Yes, that's a deep conversation.
Well, we want you to kind of take heed to the answers that she gave you, and hope that will work for you.
And great because and I really do want to get a house so I can kind of prepare for the family I want.
Oh, wonderful.
Because an apartment is just like, you just pay for something that's not yours. Yeah, you're just renting it, basically,
Okay.
So, but definitely, I really appreciate it. You guys have a blessed New Year.
All right, you too. Happy New Year to you. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Okay, well, that was excellent advice. So if you all didn't really hear that was a gentleman wanting to buy a house, and he was calling from Las Vegas. And Stephanie was just telling him that what you do is you continue your lifestyle, but you put a savings aside of whatever that house might look like that you desire to have, put aside that monthly mortgage, and do that for 6 months. And that really and truly will let you know if you can afford that, and gives you a really nice down payment. That is excellent advice for somebody that wants to buy a house.
To buy a house, you need to pull your credit report. Whether you're looking to buy a house or not, you need to pull your free credit report. There are several credit websites. One is creditkarma.com.
I was going to ask you about that, your opinion of that.
Yeah, and it's a quick place to look. You can look at it weekly. They give you approximately what your credit score is, and they give you a list of things that you can do to improve your credit.
Because a lot of people want to know if that is really a good website. I know
it's a good website.
Okay.
Now, for those of you who are cash rich and you don't have any credit, and people say, "Oh, you need credit," I say, "For what?" Because you can pay cash. that's another discussion. So, but if you have credit, Credit Karma is a good place to go. There are a couple of other ones, but I like the layout of Credit Karma because it's easy to read.
It is.
And also, be sure you order your annual free credit report where you can sit down and look through everything that's on there, especially the names of, because they'll have aliases of people whose names are close to you. Make sure they're not you, and if they're on there, write them and let them know. Look for anything that you may want to dispute, because that requires some action on your part. And if there's anything on there that you're not sure about or can't remember, ask the company to challenge it, prove to you that you owe that.
And one thing about Credit Karma too that I know is they will send you alerts too.
Yes,
that I think is very, very good. Very good.
And another thing is your bank accounts online. I know everyone looks at their bank statements monthly. I want to encourage you to go online weekly, because it's harder to keep up with the fraud that's going on.
That's
now.
what I do. I check mine weekly.
So check it weekly to make
Sometimes
sure
a couple of times a week.
Yes. Make sure that it's you, and if it's not you, contact the bank and let them know that you didn't make that charge. And if you hear something in the paper about merchants having a data breach, call your bank and ask them if they were aware of that. Don't be shy. Now is not the time to be shy about that. Make sure you are aware of everything that is in there.
Now, what was your opinion of the situation with was Equifax of that? Because that was kind of out there, I thought. So what did you think of that?
A couple of things come to mind. One of them is that they knew that there was a breach, and I believe that they have a fiduciary responsibility to let you know that there was a breach.
Yes.
Okay? Some of that is a little bit of, where Equifax, that didn't really happen. I don't want to believe this. Putting their head in the sand, not really wanting to deal with it, because a lot of people think that they're too big to fail. But today, in this data world, in this digital world, nothing's too big to fail. So don't be afraid to say there's a problem over here.
That's right.
And tell the truth. And the truth could be, we saw it, but we didn't think it was real, and now we found out it's real. And as people understand that, so they should have come clean sooner.
Now,
but for the listeners at home, don't expect people, though, to tell you what's going on with your money. Okay,
right.
Just be clear. Look at your bank statements at least once a week, and if you hear something, you need to call and ask.
That's right. Same thing with your credit cards.
That's right. Same with, and especially with your credit cards.
I'm old school, so I'm still trying to wrap my head around and checking the account. And I'm thinking every time I check my account, everyone is listening. Everyone is looking and watching. Every time I look, they look. And that scares me. So I'm not going online, because every time I go online, that's like opening the window.
Okay, those things we have called passwords?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to change them frequently. What happens is we change our passwords, and like once every now and then, right? And then when we change it, we make it something really easy that everybody can find, like your granddaughter's first name and their birthday. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's come up with something that's different, and change that password frequently, about every 90 days, at a minimum twice a year. So as long as you're changing your passwords, it's difficult for them to get into your account. But so much out there online that people could actually look at your social media accounts and be you. So be careful about what you post on social media. So no pictures in your house of your beautiful Christmas tree, because most of them have GPS locators on there, so you can get your address. Okay. No pictures of your children. This is my family, and all of their names.
And because people do that.
Well, they don't realize that people are actually hackers are actually watching, researching. So what they can do is they will call the banks, because they've got enough information about you, and say things like, you know what, God, words, I've got like 160 accounts. It's so hard to remember. And I need you to help me with my password. I'm having trouble getting in my account. Well, they've looked at your social media, so they know a lot about you, which are probably tie into the same security questions that you answered. So if they're really nice people, the person helping you will help them right into your account. and go right into your account. So don't open any emails that you're not familiar with. If you're not familiar with the sender, don't open it.
Now that's really important.
And be careful when you answer the phone at home too, because they're checking to see if you're there. So never say no or never say yes. Open the phone and answer the phone. And if it's nobody you want to talk to, you don't owe them a conversation or an explanation. They called you.
That's right. And then, and you know what they had said for a lot of the seniors, do not say yes when someone asks you.
Saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes you pick up the phone and say, hello, yes. Yes. And they'll take that yes and use it.
Well, when they ask a question, exactly.
Just tell them, excuse me, no, I don't, or either repeat that wrong number.
It's a wrong number, do. Wrong number will do. Right.
Oh, yeah. So it's just, these you do really and truly have to understand that people are out here to take to our seniors. Because I was, even Ed's sister got, okay, we have another caller. Oh, you're here with Here's Life with Zemrah with Dr. Coleman. You have a question for us, and where are you from?
And this is Deborah Vance calling from The Answer Incorporated.
Oh, okay. How are you?
Hi there. How are you doing? Oh, God, I'm my hero. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I did not know you were on Intellectual Radio now.
I'm actually being interviewed by the wonderful Zemrah.
Yes, we have her here with as our special guest this evening.
Good. Look, I'm going to continue to listen, and I just happen to be scrolling here. I was like, oh, she on my side of town. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that it's going to be a great show. You are amazing, and we have to connect.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we do have to connect. You're amazing, too. Thanks for calling in and listening. Spread the word, because Zemrah does have great topics.
I will.
Yeah, and again, it's you can go and see the show even later. Just go to IntellectualRadio.com and put in Here's the Life with Zemrah, and you can pull up the show. Okay. All right, thank you. You as well. Bye-bye.
Now, another thing that we do as adults is we don't plan, so we have to start having money conversations with our children even earlier.
Yes.
We have to teach them the value of $1. So they will have to start to work. I need to work for things in order to earn money. No more just giving them money. And I know that generally in some ethnic groups give them allowances. The wonderful thing about allowances is you sit down with them and you talk about what they have to buy with that. And then if they're out of money by Wednesday, guess what? They're just out of money by Wednesday.
That's right. Teaches them management.
Teaches them management.
That's right.
And how to actually treat your money. How you carry it, how you fold it, where do you keep it.
Right.
And treat it like it's valuable to you.
Because I know
some people just ball it up and put it in their pocket.
Right. I know our youngest grandson, Emmanuel, who's an MMA fighter who we just adore. He like we were going to give him, he moved in his own place, and so we were going to give him an apartment warming.
Mm-hmm.
And he said no, they needed, and they didn't need to get anything else. And I thought that was pretty good for 19 years old to come up with that. He said they didn't need anything else. They had everything that they needed.
Well, he distinguished between needs and wants. There's not very little you need. So he got that. So the other stuff you want, you can get that later.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's really, it's important for to manage money. But when you get, older adults and all, then you'll be surprised how many older adults don't really and truly know how to manage money.
They were never trained, never taught.
But we never talked about money because there was never enough money is what I was always heard. Right. Nothing to talk about. Right. And it was grown folks' business. So you can talk about grown people's business.
Right.
So you never talked about money.
That's right.
So we have to start to talk about money. You have to have a conversation about what things cost. You have to have a conversation about the grocery store, how much you spend at the grocery store. Now, one method that's really helpful if you've never really dealt with money is an envelope method. Some financial planners don't like it, but it works. But all of the methods work because
if you work
them, that's it. You got to work them. So you take an envelope and you label it rent or food, utilities, and you put the money in that envelope for that, and you don't go in that envelope for anything
nothing.
else.
That's budget.
That's budget, right? And then you pay the rent, you pay the utilities. So if you put $125 in the envelope for food and you're in the grocery store and you spend $150, you can't spend $150 because you only have $125. And that's the magic about that, because it makes you start to prioritize and think about absolutely everything.
Now you got to start putting stuff back.
Right. You got to put something back. Right. Or make a different menu, or learn to make a menu or list, because generally that extra $25 was spent probably at the waiting to get at the checkout, because they have all those little wonderful things that you just don't know how you can live without. Right.
Now, this is what I want to ask, and we want to know this now. As far as checking accounts, when you're talking about a couple, how do you think that a couple should handle, or who do you think should handle? Well, I've always thought the best manager should handle the money, but a lot of men have a hang up about that, unfortunately, but they do. So how would you explain that? And we're running close to time, but we want to get that in.
The best manager should handle the money, but there should be an agreement about what's going to be paid. That part should be discussed. And the best managers should handle the money. Now, as far as married couples, what tends to work best is you have a joint account where you're paying all your bills from, and then both have their own accounts, because, if your husband is going to buy you something, you don't want to know how much he paid for it. You know what I mean? Or if your wife's going to buy you something, you don't know how much you paid for it.
Most of them don't want to know.
That's right. Just don't want to know, right? Your women don't want to know, really. So they need their own little stash of money. But that's a discussion that you need to have. You need to know how much things cost in your house. And a lot of people don't know how to count what things cost. So
you was right. They don't know how to count.
So we
some of them don't count.
Get over the fear of money. Okay.
Well, money actually is just energy, and money is, in my mind, is life is a game, and money is just how you keep score.
Oh, okay.
That's all. So how do you keep score? So did you win this month, or did you lose your game this month? And when you lose a game, you don't stop playing football, basketball, baseball. You just play a better game the next time.
Right.
So that means you're just going to have to play a better game the next time. So where did you lose? What was your strength? So if you all look at it like a game, what were your strengths? What derailed you? What happened? All of a sudden, you were feeling lonely and you bought too much stuff. Okay, so stop buying too much stuff. That's what you have to put down on your list. Don't buy too much stuff. So what's going to be your play the next time?
Now this is part one. Will you come back next week and do us part two?
Sure.
I'll check
my calendar. Let you know.
We can do it because we're running out of time. But
is there more than 2 parts?
There's always some.
We can talk about money all day, all year.
Because people really and truly don't know how to handle money. They really don't. And I think that's a lot of reasons why we don't have it. Now, one of the questions, how much do you think, quickly, and then next we have coming up the awesome Tony Duncan with Truth Seekers. He'll be coming up shortly behind us. Again, you are joining us at IntellectualRadio.com. And quickly, before we go, Stephanie, tell us, how much should people save of each paycheck, or save a month?
You should save. These are the rules. Tithe 10%.
Okay.
Save 10% in an account for large expenses, such as saving for a washer and dryer or a car. Send for a retirement account that you never, ever, ever, ever touch until you are retired. Okay. And then you've got the 70% to live out of.
Okay.
And those are the basic rules.
10 for saving, 10 for retirement, 10 for investing.
Tithing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 30% right there.
Right there. And then you live out of 70%.
And if that's not enough, make more money.
And that's one of the things we can talk about, because people, there are ways to make more money and to bring more money in. And one of the ways to do that is to generally, first off, start eliminating some expenses. People pay far too much for what they have. They pay far too much for telephone. They pay far too much for data and far too much for internet.
Yes.
We are sold packages when we only need this much.
That's
so you need to know exactly what you use, and that's what you buy.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. And that would probably cut most of those bills in half.
And that's what's important. You got to organize be organized in your.
You got to cut your expenses first. That's the easiest way to increase your income.
Well, please check your calendar, and we would love to have Dr. Coleman back with us next week with part 2 on management of money and how to organize your home as far as knowing what you have to do in order to build that wealth that you're looking for. You're here with Zemrah and my better half, Ed. Yes, and we're thanking Dr. Coleman for for joining us this evening. I hope that you enjoyed our segment. You know, we say all you give is all you get, so give it all you got. We love our show. We're here every Tuesday at IntellectualRadio.com. Join me on Facebook, and also go to IntellectualRadio.com and check out our show in full if you didn't get a chance to see it. Again, you have a wonderful evening, and Tony Duncan, the Truth Seekers, is coming up shortly. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
So here